Indian real estate sector has witnessed high growth in the recent times with rise in demand for office as well as residential spaces. This, coupled with the growth of civic infrastructure, has led to a steady growth of concrete construction over the last years, and thus, formwork systems have become a matter of particular importance. Film-faced shuttering plywood is the most commonly used formwork system in concrete constructions. Radha Krishna Plywood is a leading manufacturer of shuttering plywood and has a state-of-the-art manufacturing facility in Haryana. Mr. Rakesh Khurana, the man behind the brand, believes in producing best quality products using raw materials sourced from across the world. The process begins with felling of trees. It requires great precision since the wood is later used to manufacture the plywood. Only the chosen few are cut. This selection is done on the basis of their physical geometry, quality and aesthetic characteristics. Debarking of the logs then takes place so as to facilitate the lathe operator's task and to remove the dirt and debris which would otherwise prove detrimental to the lathe knife, whereupon the logs are cut to length to fit the lathe. The debarking is done in order to ensure that the wood's surface is smooth. This contributes a lot towards the plywood's final texture. A rotary lathe machine then peels the logs wool into thin veneers. The veneers produced are in the form of continuous sheets. Since the quality of the veneer is one of the single most important factors in determining plywood grade, veneers with visible defects are discarded. The veneers are then clipped to size by high-speed knives, graded and stored in piles ready for drying. Any defects, such as knots and splits, are then cut out of the sheets to ensure production of top-quality output. The clipped veneers produced by the peeling process are typically wet, or full of moisture and need to be dried. The drying of veneer, to between 2 and 10% moisture content, is to aid the gluing process during the manufacture of the plywood. This is done by feeding the veneers into dryers at a controlled speed. The clipped and dried veneers pass through the gluing machine. This gluing machine spreads the glue evenly on the back and face of the veneer. Only half the veneers are glued to make sure a dry veneer is laid up with a glued veneer. The veneers are then stacked manually. Glued veneer on top of unglued veneer, then followed by glued veneer and so on. The grains of adjacent veneers are perpendicular to each other. This is to balance the strength of veneers to make sure the finished panel is balanced. At Radha Krishna Plywood, after the glued and unglued sheets which are glued together, they are pressed using a hot press machine to attain the desired thickness of the shuttering plywood. When heat is applied, the glue hardens quickly and then solidifies as the combined veneer is pressed together. The plywood is considered dry once the pressure is released. Following hot pressing, the board is left to stabilize and cool down before further processing. Then it is a case of trimming down any excess veneer so the board has square edges and equal proportions. Radha Krishna follows strict quality checks and protocols, and that is the reason why their shuttering plywood is the best shuttering plywood manufactured in India. Radha Krishna Plywood sells its products under the brand names Blackberry and Zodiac.